Hey y'all, so we are finally going cruising again. We haven't been on a cruise since 2019, so we're really excited to be getting back out. So we're going to document our experience of traveling with toddlers on a cruise. So not only can you see what cruising is like in April of 22, but also what it's like to travel with children and unvaccinated children at that. Getting back out to see what the protocols are. They've already changed in the last 2 weeks, so follow us so you know what to expect. Okay, so our first cruise, well, my first cruise was in 2015 on our honeymoon. It was my very first cruise, and we've gone every year together since. But our last cruise was in 2019. We went with Royal Caribbean, Majesty of the Seas. We went to Cuba and the Bahamas. Had an amazing time. We did not take the kids on that one. And then 2020 comes around, we all know what happened. In 2021, we had a cruise booked to the Bahamas. It got canceled. We had a Disney cruise booked to Key West in the Bahamas that was supposed to set sail in this past February, but they changed their ports of call and they were going to take us to Cozumel. Nothing against Cozumel, we're going to Cozumel on this trip, but if I'm going to pay that much money for a Disney cruise, I want to go where I want to go. So Disney is still on our plans in the future, but right now we're going to leave here in a couple of weeks. We're sailing out of Galveston. We're going to go to Costa Maya and Cozumel. We are taking the girls. Lila Bo has been on a cruise before, but she was 8 months old, doesn't remember it. Everly's never been. But Lila Bo is 5. She has not been vaccinated. Obviously, Everly, she's 3.5. She has not been vaccinated. Josh and I have been vaccinated. And with pre-testing requirements and the vaccination status and masks and all these things, there's so much going on, and we're trying to keep up with it. So we want to keep you guys updated on what we know and how our cruise goes and what it's like getting out there with the toddlers. So what do we know so far?
So far, as of today, March 22nd, Royal Caribbean now has guests 12 and older must present proof full COVID-19 vaccination with the final dose administered at least 14 days prior to your departure date. Children 11 and under do not require COVID vaccination to cruise. However, kids 5 to 11 who have been vaccinated may present proof of fully vaccination and follow protocols for vaccinated guests. Okay, so vaccinated guests must show a negative test result, PCR or antigen test, no more than 2 days prior to your boarding day. Unvaccinated kids, which we have, 2 to 11, must show a negative test result, PCR, within 3 days prior to boarding. What we're going to do...
You can't take it on boarding day.
No,
right?
No, you cannot take it on boarding day. It has to be 3 days out. What we're doing is we just going to book a Walgreens, go in, get our tests done, be done with it. Royal Caribbean does now, however, offer you can do it at home.
There's a home test, but it's a very specific home test that you have to take if you want to do it at home. And that's just for the vaccinated adults, correct?
Right, correct. Another thing, when on boarding day, whenever you get there, the new Royal Caribbean app, 1,000,000 times better than the old app. I like it so much better. They have the new e-muster, which I'm kind of excited about. I've done the whole old school muster where everybody stands around with their drink, talking to each other. It's great for socializing, but that was an hour wasted out of your cruise time. The e-muster, you go through the safety protocol, you still get all the same information from your original muster instead of one of your cruise staff showing you how to put the vest on, the whistle, and all of that. It's all in the app. You watch the videos, you go through all the information, check it all off. You go to your muster station, which it'll tell you on your CPass. You go down there, you show them your CPass. All 4 of us will check in. They check us off. We're done. We go back on.
You don't have to wait on everybody else. We took our CPass pictures on the app too.
Yes, you can take your CPass picture on the app, which is a good thing because now you can get multiple. It's like, ooh, that's an awful picture. Try again. Ooh, that's awful.
Pick your picture.
Yeah. Whereas before you walk up, take your hat off, smile, then you're done. Another thing within the app, 30 days prior to your boarding, it'll open up for a check-in. So I was actually up at midnight as soon as check-in opened because I wanted there early. So if you don't want to get there at first chance to check in at the pier, then don't worry about it. But I got up midnight. I got us an 11:30 a.m. check-in. At the cruise terminal, if you're vaccinated, just know being at the terminal, everybody wears a mask while you're on the terminal, boarding and everything. Once you're on board your ship, if you're fully vaccinated, masks are optional. Being the unvaccinated children, they will still have to wear a mask in crowded areas and indoors and stuff like the elevators, stuff like that. It's going to be an adventure keeping a mask on a 3-year-old. One other thing, with kids, vaccinated or not, they will have to wear a mask in Adventure Ocean. Lila was too young to go to Adventure Ocean whenever we took her on our first cruise. Has to be at least a year. Everly, we probably won't take our kids to Adventure Ocean just because we're on a family vacation. I want to spend as much time with my kids as possible.
And there was a change to the dining too, right?
So in the main dining room, vaccinated guests may dine with other vaccinated guests that are outside of their travel party. Before, pretty much, this is your table, this is your table, this is your table. Now you can, back to the good old days, whenever, that's how I met several of my best friends. Meet them at a table and you start talking, and guess what? You're friends. Another thing is, if you have unvaccinated children, you will get assigned a table of your own, which I'm actually kind of excited about because I know how my kids act at a table.
They're 5 and 3. We try our best, but they're still 5 and 3.
So, but it's a good thing. It's a good experience. Before, you couldn't take unvaccinated into the main dining. You had your separate sections, so you were completely up on a different floor from the vaccinated guests. And so they have recently changed a few things as far as the ports of call go. So a couple days ago, we got an email reference. They changed all of their ports leaving out of Galveston, so Cozumel and Costa Maya. So you can come and go off the ship as you want to, regardless of your vaccination status. That is one update that they have done recently that I really like, because we had booked an excursion in Cozumel and wanted to get the girls off and get them to the beach. Well, in Costa Maya, they didn't really have any excursions to book with Royal Caribbean that the girls could go and do. Everly wasn't old enough, or
they're too short.
Or they're too short. Thanks to Mom and Dad.
Yeah.
With that changing, now we can get off in Costa Maya freely as we need to. Sailings for 5 nights and more, which we are going on a 5-night. Your children, if they're unvaccinated, will receive a complimentary antigen test prior to deboarding your ship after the cruise. They'll get that all set up for you. They've told us, they sent out an email, I believe, or they'll set it up with you on board the boat ship.
So the girls have to have a test 3 days prior. They will get a complimentary test when we board the ship.
And then only the girls will have to have a test to get off the ship. Everything is subject to change. They even state that in every email that Royal Caribbean sent to us, which they are very good about. Any updates or anything that might change, they send you an email to let you know, hey, this has changed, this is updated.
So just to recap, the girls have to have a COVID test 3 days prior to departure. Josh and I have to have a COVID test 2 days prior to departure.
We can do the antigen.
Yes, we can do the antigen. The girls, since they're unvaccinated, have to do the PCR test. We will get to port. We will wear masks inside the terminal. We will all 4 get a complimentary COVID test. Once those are negative, we will board the ship. Vaccinated guests do not have masks are optional. The girls they're unvaccinated, so they will have to wear masks in crowded spaces and possibly inside. I heard a rumor that they're pretty lax with the kids, so we'll just kind of see how that pans out. Excursions, we're super excited about before they told us that we were going to have to be escorted to our excursion, participate in our excursion, and be escorted back to the ship, and we couldn't walk around port. So now we're free to walk around port, which is great, and we can get off in Costa Maya and do a few things, maybe hit the beach, and then come back. And then when we leave, the day that we depart, just the girls are going to have another COVID test. So unfortunately, the girls are going to have to do it 3 times as of now. There has been a very, very small cruise line in the United States that has waived all the COVID testing, pre-testing requirements, but they are very, very small ships. So that's kind of what we know right now. We're got our fingers crossed that they'll get rid of the pre-testing. But we're just excited to go. Hopefully everything goes smooth. It's a little stressful. I mean, it's always stressful sometimes to get ready to prep for a cruise, but when you've got, unvaccinated kids and all the protocols these days, it's a little stressful, but we're excited to go. We're so excited for the girls. They don't know what we're doing. We haven't told them. We're not going to tell them until we actually get to port. So all they know is they're going to get to swim. So.
Yep, that's the only thing that we've told them is they'll get to swim. We actually got a suite for the girls, so we have a balcony, so we have a big room to enjoy for all 4 of us. Make sure like and subscribe. I'm going to try and do a couple of quick videos and updates as we go through this process. Granted, you can't use the camera inside the terminal, but once we get on the boat, I'm going to try and get an update as quick as I can. Just make sure you like and subscribe. If you have any questions or anything that we should look for, suggestions, please leave them in the comments.
Or if y'all know anything, if you've been on a cruise here lately and you have any tips or updated information, you can let us know too. I think the whole process is kind of the unknown. It's, we're cruising in new times, but I think the thing that you've been really the most salty about is that our kids are emeralds.
Yes. How is that? I sign up Everly, who has never been on a cruise before. And
she's 3.5.
She's 3.5 years old, and she's an emerald. I'm like, how does that happen? But
if that's the biggest frustration, we're doing pretty good.
We're doing good. So again, be sure like and subscribe. Also check us out. Nicole is in charge of TikTok and Instagram. Be sure to follow us on TikTok, Instagram. Also,
everything's under Gaffords Go Coastal. It's super easy to find, and that's it. We'll talk to you guys soon. We'll give you an update as soon as we know.
All right. Everybody stay safe. Have fun.